Buying vegetables at the wrong Canadian grocery store can cost you more than money. Today, we expose the 5 worst places to buy produce in Canada, with facts on hidden chemicals, quality risks, and ignored safety problems. Every claim comes from our detailed 15-page research report reviewed by food safety experts. Watch until the end for 2 of the cleanest, safest picks for Canadian vegetables you can actually trust. Number 5. Metro and Food Basics. You see a wall of yellow discount tags and feel safe. The parsley in your basket tells a sharper, quieter truth. Metro and Food Basics sit inside Canada's grocery inner circle. Federal figures based on Canadian grocer data show 5 groups: Loblaw, Sobeys, Empire, Metro, Costco, and Walmart control roughly 76 to 80% of grocery sales. Metro alone holds about 11%. When a player with that reach leans hard on low-priced produce, shopping habits move with it. Environmental Defense audits 54 busy stores and counts that 71% of produce items come wrapped in plastic, while only 27% sit loose. A 2024 update again finds about 70% of produce wrapped in plastic at major chains such as Metro. Plastic-free options remain the exception rather than the rule. Canada's regulators track chemical residues behind those displays. In 1 year, the National Chemical Residue Monitoring Program runs over 93,000 tests on about 14,500 food samples and reports 97.7% compliance, which still leaves thousands of out-of-limit results that need follow-up. Earlier, Ontario work on fruits and vegetables finds pesticide residues on about 69% of domestic samples and clear violations in a small but real fraction. Distance adds one more layer. Federal trade data lists fresh vegetable imports at roughly $1.7 billion in a single year, driven largely by shipments from the United States. Every added transport day raises the chance that pre-bagged or bruised vegetables support bacterial growth, even when labels still look fine. So a careful Metro or Food Basics shopper treats price as one variable, never the shield. Choose loose, seasonal produce, inspect it closely, and keep the strongest caution for plastic-heavy salad shortcuts. Next comes a salad brand that shows up across several chains at once. Number 4. Sobeys, Safeway, and FreshCo. You grab a neat complement salad and think problem solved. Public health files describe that same bowl as an open question. Sobeys controls a web of banners across Canada. Sobeys, Safeway, IGA, Thrifty Foods, and discount chain FreshCo. Government market briefing data places Sobeys around 20% of national grocery sales, second only to Loblaw, so its private label vegetables reach millions of fridges. In January 2010, CFIA warned the public not to eat Complement's Italian blend salad mix, 284-gram bags with UPC 68820-10093, because of possible Listeria monocytogenes contamination. In 2012, CFIA and Sobeys again advised customers to avoid a long list of complement salads and prepared foods for the same bacterium, including Caesar kits, coleslaw, and spring mix. One contaminated lettuce supply line ends up scattered through sandwiches, deli salads, and wraps. Listeria scares experts for good reason. Public Health Agency estimates show about 4 million Canadians get sick from contaminated food each year, with over 11,500 hospitalizations and around 240 deaths. Listeriosis stays relatively rare, yet severe cases carry reported mortality rates that can approach 30 to 50% in high-risk groups and can trigger miscarriage, stillbirth, meningitis, or blood poisoning. So the rational move inside Sobeys, Safeway, or FreshCo focuses on control. Whole heads of romaine, leaf lettuce, and cabbage let you peel outer leaves. Rinse well and set your own fridge timeline. Pre-made salad bowls trade that control for convenience and centralize every risk in one plastic shell. That trade-off grows even sharper when the private label belongs to Canada's largest retailer. Number 3, Real Canadian Superstore. You roll past electronics, clothing, pharmacy, and reach the salad wall. One private label links that entire wall to the same decision tree. Real Canadian Superstore sits inside Loblaw Companies, Canada's biggest food retailer. Government and industry reports put Loblaw's grocery share around 28%, ahead of Sobeys at 20% and Metro at 11%, inside a top 5 block that controls nearly 80% of national grocery sales. In 2025, Loblaw reported quarterly revenues of about 14.1 billion Canadian dollars, up 4.1% year over year, helped by growth at discount banners and superstores. High volume means any vegetable problem scales fast. Recall files show that clearly. In late 2019, Loblaw recalled President's Choice Coleslaw, 397-gram bags with specific best-before dates, after Canadian testing detected salmonella. A related Dole notice explains that a random CFIA test of President's Choice Colorful Coleslaw finds salmonella, which triggers a broader recall of Dole and private label coleslaw made on the same line. Other alerts extend concern to additional cut vegetable products when listeria shows up in processing plants handling rice, cauliflower, kale salads, and green beans. Health agencies describe salmonella as a leading cause of foodborne illness, with symptoms such as diarrhea, stomach cramps, nausea, vomiting, and fever that can last a week and lead to hospitalization in vulnerable people. Food may still look and smell normal, so inside Superstore, the data point that matters most becomes processing steps. Whole carrots, cabbage, broccoli, and uncut leafy greens go through your sink and knife instead of an industrial shredder. The same parent company also powers an even more aggressive discount format, where price pressure sharpens every compromise. Before we continue, remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single insight on Canadian grocery stores. Before we reveal the 2 worst stores, remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more Canadian food insights. Number 2, no frills. You see the yellow sign and feel your wallet relax. The trade-off lives in thin margins, fast turnover, and quiet shortcuts. No frills anchors the discount end of Loblaw's portfolio. Federal reports show Loblaw with about 28% of Canadian grocery sales, while the top 5 players together control close to 80% of the sector. In 2025, Reuters reports that Loblaw's quarter beat expectations, partly because shoppers moved into discount banners such as No Frills and Maxi during inflation. That migration pushes more vegetable buying into the cheapest formats. Canada's residue monitoring program still reports 97.7% compliance with national limits for pesticides, veterinary drugs, metals, and other contaminants after more than 93,000 tests on about 14,500 food samples in a year. Yet Ontario data show that about 68.5% of fruit and vegetable samples carry at least one detectable pesticide residue, and a minority exceed legal maximums. International cohort work links higher intake of high-residue produce with higher mortality compared with similar diets centered on lower residue produce. Packaging adds another cost. Environmental Defense finds more than 70% of items in Canadian produce and baby food aisles packaged in plastic, including many value bags and salad kits. Food waste research estimates that over 46% of food in Canada goes to waste each year, worth $58 billion and tied to about 25.7 million tons of CO2 equivalent emissions. Bulk packs encourage overbuying and later binning of limp vegetables. So at No Frills, the safest cheap move treats vegetables like serious ingredients. Choose whole cabbage, onions, carrots, and squash, peel or cook them, and lean on frozen vegetables rather than deeply processed salad kits. Those habits become even more important when the discount logic comes from a global big box chain. Number 1, Walmart Canada. You go in for laundry soap and leave with a full cart. The quiet risk comes from vegetables treated like side merchandise. Walmart holds about 8% of Canada's grocery sales, according to federal summaries of Canadian grocer data, placing it 5th behind Loblaw, Sobeys, Metro, and Costco. That share looks modest until you remember that nearly 90% of Canadians live within 100 kilometers of the U.S. border, where big box stores cluster. In late November 2025, CFIA issued a recall for your Fresh Market broccoli florets, Walmart's private label, because of possible salmonella contamination. The affected 907-gram plastic bags carry UPC 627735270-548, best before date November 26, 2025, and lot code 25318, distributed in at least 6 provinces from Ontario to Newfoundland and Labrador. Public health advisories repeat one key message. Food contaminated with salmonella may look and smell normal, yet still cause illness. Symptoms commonly include several days of diarrhea, abdominal cramps, nausea, vomiting, and fever, with higher hospitalization risk in vulnerable groups. Canadian packaging audits find that over 70% of produce items across major grocery chains, including Walmart, are sold in plastic. Those bags trap moisture and limit your ability to inspect each floret, especially once condensation builds during long transport. So inside Walmart, the safer vegetable strategy stays deliberate rather than impulsive. Prefer whole heads of broccoli, cauliflower, and lettuce you can trim and wash. Pick frozen vegetables packed shortly after harvest, and treat giant pre-chopped bags as rare tools, not weekly defaults. After seeing the risk with big box chains, it's time to look at safer, more careful options closer to home. Next come two Canadian-focused grocers that many shoppers treat as safer ground. Longo's. You walk into Longo's and notice the pace change. The vegetable section feels closer to a produce market than a warehouse aisle. Longo Brothers Fruit Markets began in 1956 as a small Toronto fruit shop run by 3 Italian brothers. Nearly 70 years later, the chain operates roughly 36 to 43 stores across southern Ontario, plus an online delivery arm, and employs more than 5,000 team members. Instead of national scale, Longo's leans on regional control and frequent produce buying. Customers reward that focus. The Leisure Wow in-store study, which surveys thousands of shoppers across more than 25 sectors, ranks Longo's the #1 grocery retailer in Ontario for in-store experience in several editions, including 2020 and 2024, and again for guest service in 2025. Scores highlight product quality, produce freshness, ambiance, and checkout efficiency. Company history material describes producing buyers hand-selecting fresh items for stores 6 days a week. You still need to rinse, peel, and handle vegetables safely, and national residue statistics apply everywhere. Yet several things tilt in your favor. Staff trained to pull tired items, smaller back rooms, and reputational pressure inside a compact region. Longo's also collects awards for health, safety, and employee wellness, which matters when you think about who checks temperatures, rotates stock, and reacts quickly to supplier alerts. Chains that invest in frontline teams often keep stronger routines around hygiene and quality control. So if you live in Southern Ontario and want a mainstream chain that behaves more like a specialty grocer, Longo's offers that bridge. The final example scales that sense of trust across the whole country through a membership model built on volume and value. Costco. You flash a membership card and walk into a concrete cathedral of bulk. Hidden in those pallets, vegetable choices feel surprisingly strategic. Costco serves far more than office snacks. The Dunnhumby Retailer Preference Index for Canada, which blends customer perception with financial data across 28 major grocery banners representing about 97% of market share, names Costco the top grocery retailer in Canada in 2024 and again in 2025. The study pegs the grocery market around $115 billion and shows Costco leading on perceived value and right price for quality. Government data place Costco at roughly 9% of Canadian grocery sales, close to Walmart in food share, inside a top 5 block that controls close to 80% of the market. Warehouse clubs thrive when members finish what they buy, so Costco has a strong incentive to guard produce quality and respond to trouble fast. Safety oversight matches other chains. CFIA's residue monitoring program runs more than 93,000 tests a year on around 14,500 food samples and reports 97.7% compliance with chemical limits, produce included. Costco then layers cold chain rules and detailed specifications for club-sized packs of berries, greens, and cut vegetables. Your biggest remaining risk at Costco becomes volume. Canada wastes an estimated 46% of its food each year, worth about $58 billion and responsible for over 25 million tons of CO2 equivalent emissions. A giant tub of spinach that spoils in your crisper brings zero savings and full exposure to nutrient loss and potential microbial growth. So Costco earns a best bet with caution label, a retailer that repeatedly ranks near the top for value, quality, and trust, as long as you buy vegetable quantities that your household can realistically prepare and finish. That closes this tour of Canadian grocery aisles and leaves the next decision in your cart. If any store on this list surprised you, let us know your story in the comments below. And if you're ready for more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. Thanks a lot for watching and see you in the next one.